What's up, YouTube? All right. We are back to live videos. That's what you're going to see here today. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to live commentate over top of my trades. I'm obviously going to condense the trades down so they're not super long. If they are super long, some, as you know, will be pretty short anyways. But we're going to kind of jump right into this. If you guys want to see these trades live in their full length, you can feel free to still watch them over on Twitch while I'm still there. Or I'm thinking about making a channel inside the Discord so that I can list the unlisted live stream from YouTube. So those will be available. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I always appreciate that support. The channel is growing. I know a lot of people that watch my videos aren't actually subscribed, which is kind of weird. It only takes a second. It's free to hit that subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. And if you do like the way that we're doing these videos, or if you like the way that I'm doing this one video that we're now trying again, let me know down below, and so that I know kind of how everyone feels about watching these videos. I really want to try to start making some better quality videos and allowing the channel to not kind of, I don't want to step in the way of the channel, because I really think this channel does have a good foundation at this point, and I really think we can grow. And I would like to see it grow, obviously, for some passive income on my side, as well as just kind of still presenting my journey as we move forward, and the ability to possibly help somebody as they are starting up, or maybe even some people looking for some more advanced techniques. So going to jump into FVRR. This is our first trade. We're going to go ahead and get it started. So what I was looking at here, 37.45, previous resistance from yesterday. As you can see, it makes a nice little move up here, not on a lot of volume though. So I'm being pretty skeptical, and I'm just trying to make sure that we're in a spot where we want to be. Basically, see it pop up through 40. This was the first time I really saw it kind of jiggle at a certain area. So we go ahead and jump into a starter there at 40.20. Was hoping to get like 40.40 there, but the spread was kind of bad. Put an order out at 39.20. Looking for just a quick point. Would have been a nice little $27 trade to start us off. But as you can see, FVRR had different ideas. It starts to grind a little bit higher. I'm really wanting to kind of be patient with this one, because as you can see, it was kind of slow. You saw it sped up there, but it actually put in a gap candle. You can see me checking it there. It actually opened up. It was trading slow enough to where someone hit the spread, they hit the ask, which then gapped the candles. I was trying to be, again, as patient as possible. We found this $44 level on the daily. And if you want to go check that out, feel free. It was a pretty clear spot to draw. So at this point, it's starting to jiggle here, but I'm really trying to be patient, seeing if we can get up through 43, because I know that that line's there, figuring some people might be looking at that. And I was just kind of just trying to feel it out to see if we were going to kind of jiggle. And every time it tried to jiggle, it would kind of come down a little bit, but then go higher. It'll come down a little bit and then go higher. It wasn't really like a back and forth. And up here, you're going to kind of see it. It starts to actually kind of give us that back and forth a little bit. So that's where we get an add. So we do a 1-1. And at this point, I'm thinking, do I want to go to 100 shares or do I want to go to 80 shares? Because I wanted to get a whole amount, but I'm basically saying I want to see if we go up and test that 44, would be looking for a 1-1-2. If it does go up through 44, up through 45, basically looking to space out our ads. But if it does come up here and test this 44 area like I'm thinking, and rejects, I'm going to look to add a little bit more shares to give us a 1-2 situation to try to get our average up above 42, giving us a better chance to get out of this trade with some profit. So obviously I was not happy about this one. I started this thing with 27 shares, just looking to make 27 bucks, and now we're down over $120. I wasn't really looking to risk that much on this, but sometimes stocks decide to go a lot further than you planned, and then it becomes your job to manage the trade correctly. So as you can see, it does go, pokes its head through 44, and as it starts to come down, this is where we go ahead and get our add in, just kind of looking for a little bit of confirmation here that we are going to try to head down. And when I make this add here, I'm basically telling myself, okay, high of day is going to be my stop. Looking for it to come back down through 42. So 42.14 is what we end up getting. In hindsight, wish we would have went with the little bit bolder of a strategy and added the extra 20 shares there. Probably brings us up to like 42.30, 42.40 maybe, and makes this trade a little bit better. Because then I probably would have put most of the shares, at least 50 of them, above 42, and we would have got filled right there, assuming we would have got filled on the bid. And then we would have had 50 shares left to kind of play around with. But that's obviously all hindsight. So we're going to come down. It was a little sad because that went to 42.08. We put an order out at 41.88. and it pretty much came down, bounced off 42, and it starts to go higher. So now I'm getting a little emotional, a little pissy, because I'm thinking if it goes back to the highs, we're going to stop out for a much bigger loss than I even thought. When I got into this trade, I'm thinking maybe $50 loss at most, but it does come down, fills us those 60 shares. We're left with 20 out of the 80, and I'm going to look for a point move on these. And I want to pause this real quick, because essentially I always look to make at least like 1/5 of what I'm risking if we do get into one where we're adding. So looking to make like 30, $40 on something where we were risking 120, that puts us actually a little bit above it. So I was happy with how the trade ended up playing out. I was very happy with how we were very patient with the ads here, and it ended up giving us a manageable trade. And as you're going to see here, I basically also told myself our stop's going to be break even, just paying attention to the ask for that, because I didn't want to put the stop at break even, because you're most likely going to get slippage. And as you can see, it comes up and it pretty much gives a slippage anyway, because the spread was that bad. And we ended up with like 9 cents slippage there. So still ended up green after being down quite a bit on that one, much more than I wanted to be. So I can't really complain. This thing did end up coming up and retesting over 43, looking like it wanted to go to the highs, but ultimately it did fail, and I think came all the way back down to that previous resistance. So a little sad about that one. Jumping into our second trade, which should be clicking over here any second, is actually OG. So this thing halted up at $1.01, basically looking to see what this does out of the halt. It was volume out of nowhere. Already been in 2 halts now, the first one down here and the second one up here at 101. And I'm basically just going to start with 100 shares because I don't know how wacky this thing might be. So opens up near 115, comes down, retests that $1 area right away. So at this point, that's what I would have been looking for, was that $1 test. So I really want to see it try to go higher and see what happens there. However, we didn't test one, so I have that in the back of my head. We do go up, test 120, was pretty quick, and now I'm basically just looking to see, is it going to go through 120, or are we just going to hang out down below 120? And as you can see, it keeps rejecting 120, keeps rejecting 120. So as we come down, and now, as you can see, it's not even getting back above like 116, 117. It's starting to kind of inch its way down. And once I see that, that's where I'm going to start this thing. So 112. So basically that was my jiggle for $1.10 to $1.20. You don't want to really see like 3 to 6 cent spreads, but that's kind of what we were seeing. But in this case, I saw the opportunity to get in pretty far away from $1, basically saying if it wants to go through 120, it's not a big deal because, we're only taking 100 shares, just kind of like a nibble. And I'm just looking for the quick scalp here, just looking for the $1 retest, basically fill that gap where it opened up or where it halted the first time. But as you can see, this is actually not cooperating. It doesn't even attempt to really go back down. It kind of stopped there and starts to make its way higher. And it's going to try to hit the new halt price. You can see 126 here. I believe it moves up. Yep, 128. And it's going to go up into the halt. You can see me hovering over the short button. I contemplate adding here, but I decide in my head that this is too close, especially volume out of nowhere. This is now its third halt up. I don't know if this is going to gap up and do some crazy thing. So I didn't want to add here and then possibly get too heavy and see this thing like open up at like 170 and, kind of be stuck in something. Because at that point, even if I add 100 shares at 170, the halt price is probably going to be above where my average would be at that point, just because of the price ticker that we're messing with. So I decided to let it halt, and I wanted to see what it did out of the halt and go from there. So it unhalts, and as you can see right away, it comes down to 120. It looks like it opened up around that one, like right where it halted. And I don't want to add this close. I really don't. Even with a small amount of shares, I don't really see the necessity in adding this close because then what if it does reverse? And then you can start to get too heavy too quick, even on something that you only nibble. It has happened before, and I'm sure it could happen again. And I don't want to get myself into that. So I'm going to show you that this basically comes right back down to our average and then goes right down to 104. And I'm like, come on, 101. That's all I want. And I look over and I'm like, oh, it's about to halt down. So in the moment, I'm only up $7, sure. But that's kind of all I was looking to make in the first place, right? I was looking to make $11. Do I want to mess with another halt? I hate messing with tickers that just halt over and over again. This has halted 1, 2, 3 times, all relatively fast, and came out of a halt and halted down. Are the odds in my favor that this is probably going to gap down and maybe go back down towards 70 cents? Sure. Do I want to mess with dealing with something that's going to halt over and over again? No. So I decided to take it. As you can see, I kind of hover and then boom, I hit it as it's halting. And that was that. I just didn't want to mess with it. And so we ended up with two smaller trades today. One could have been bad, could have been bigger had we got a bigger pullback. But it is what it is. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate that support. If you do have any questions or comments, which I hope you have some comments about these live trades and being able to watch them the way that we did, I obviously condensed them down so they didn't take forever. Feel free to let me know how you feel about them moving forward. I'm trying to grow the channel. Hopefully, this is a step in the right direction. And I won't be here tomorrow. I do have something to do tomorrow. So have a safe Friday. Have a good weekend. You can find me in Discord or over on Twitter as well. And I will see you guys Monday. Peace.